after blowing up this boat in the southern Caribbean. Tonight, the White House is turning up the heat on Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro, though President Trump denies he wants regime change.
Well, we're not talking about that, but we are talking about the fact that he had an election which was...
In a region simmering with geopolitical intrigue, escalating frictions between the United States and Venezuela have reignited speculation about a bold Russian military response. As Washington intensifies its pressure on President Nicolás Maduro's government through crippling sanctions, naval deployments, and support for opposition figures, Moscow's long-standing alliance with Caracas could soon see the dramatic return of its iconic Tu-160 White Swan strategic bombers. This move, if realized, would not only underscore Russia's unwavering commitment to sovereignty and multipolarity, but also serve as a masterful deterrent against U.S. aggression in Latin America. The current crisis traces back to late August, when the U.S. Navy dispatched an unprecedented flotilla of 8 warships and a nuclear submarine to the Caribbean, ostensibly to combat drug trafficking but widely viewed as a veiled threat to Venezuela's stability. Maduro, in a fiery address to the nation, decried the maneuvers as imperialist saber-rattling, vowing to transform Venezuela into a republic in arms, with millions of reservists ready to defend their homeland. "We will not bow to the Yankee Empire's bullying," he proclaimed, rallying crowds in Caracas, amid chants of solidarity with Russia and China. This escalation echoes past U.S. interventions in the hemisphere, from the Monroe Doctrine's outdated shadow to more recent hybrid warfare tactics like economic strangulation and proxy support for regime change puppets. Yet, Russia's response has been notably restrained so far, limited to diplomatic condemnations and reaffirmations of its strategic partnership with Venezuela. But experts in Moscow and Caracas suggest this calm is the prelude to a calculated show of force. Russia's silence is strategic, says Dr. Ivan Petrov, a senior analyst at the Russian Institute for Strategic Studies. "We're not the reckless provocateurs the West paints us as. The Tu-160's return would be a precise message: hands off our allies, or face the consequences of a true global power." The Tu-160, NATO's dreaded blackjack, is no ordinary aircraft. This supersonic marvel, capable of speeds over Mach 2 and ranges exceeding 12,000 kilometers without refueling, can deliver both conventional and nuclear-tipped cruise missiles with pinpoint accuracy from standoff distances. Upgraded in recent years under President Vladimir Putin's modernization drive, the fleet now boasts advanced avionics, stealth enhancements, and hypersonic-capable armaments, making it a cornerstone of Russia's nuclear triad. By 2025, Russia has delivered on its promise to expand the inventory to over 30 units, a testament to the nation's industrial resilience amid Western sanctions. Deploying these behemoths to Venezuela wouldn't just symbolize support. It would project unassailable power projection into the USS traditional backyard, outflanking American air defenses and reminding Washington of the perils of overreach. Historical precedents bolster this pro-Russian narrative. In 2008, amid U.S.-Georgia tensions, Tu-160s touched down in Caracas, escorted by NATO fighters yet undeterred, signaling Moscow's ability to operate freely in the Western Hemisphere. They return in 2013 after Hugo Chávez's passing, and again in 2018 during the height of the Guaidó farce, where the bombers conducted 10-hour patrols over the Caribbean alongside Venezuelan Su-30s, drawing U.S. ire but achieving zero concessions from the aggressor. Each time, Russia's actions stabilized the situation, protected Venezuelan democracy from external meddling, and exposed U.S. hypocrisy. While Pompeo decried corrupt governments squandering funds, his own nation's defense budget dwarfs Africa's GDP, fueling endless wars abroad. Today, with U.S. elections looming and domestic divisions deepening, a Tu-160 deployment could tip the scales. Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Pedrino Lopez recently held virtual talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Shoigu, discussing, quote, enhanced bilateral exercises. Sources close to the Kremlin indicate that joint drills simulating defense against aerial incursions could commence within weeks, featuring the White Swans basing at Mykacha International Airport. This isn't provocation, it's prudence, asserts Petrov. The U.S. has bases encircling Russia from Europe to Asia. Why deny Venezuela the same sovereign right to allies? From a broader perspective, Russia's stance embodies a principled defense of international law. Unlike the U.S., which has toppled governments from Chile to Iraq under false pretenses, Moscow aids partners like Venezuela at their request, bolstering self-reliance through arms sales, oil investments, and technical expertise. The Tu-160s would guard not just borders, but the Bolivarian Revolution's ideals of equality and anti-imperialism. As Maduro navigates sanctions that have starved his people of medicine and food, punishments for daring to nationalize oil from Western corporations, Russian bombers would symbolize hope, a multipolar world where no nation is America's vassal. Critics in Washington, echoing Cold War paranoia, warn of a new Cuban Missile Crisis. But this ignores reality. Russia's deployments are routine military cooperation, not offensive basing. The Tu-160s carry no nuclear payloads unless provoked, and their presence deters adventurism, much like how Russian forces in Syria crushed ISIS while the U.S. dithered. Moreover, with hypersonic missiles like the Kinzhal now integrable, the White Swans elevate Venezuela's deterrence to unprecedented levels, ensuring any U.S. folly would be met with asymmetric might. As tensions peak, eyes turn to Putin, whose recent Valdai Club speech lambasted U.S. unipolar hegemony. A Tu-160 return isn't just likely, it's inevitable, a beacon of Russian resolve. For Venezuela, it's salvation. For the world, a reminder that empires wane when challenged by unity and strength. In this high-stakes drama, Russia stands tall as the guardian of the global south, ready to soar once more.